This conference will now be recorded.
I looked at it.
I was gonna say thank you for that. Yeah. You ready, Bob?
Okay.
You all like to join me in a prayer, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be here today, sitting as a board of commissioners to represent the people in our community fairly and justly. Please be with us today as we do the county's business. Amen.
Amen. Join me for the pledge. We're a little early, but we'll stretch it out. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll call this meeting to order of the Lawrence County Commission on April 28th. First up would be approving the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the agenda is approved as presented. Do we have any conflicts today?
No.
We all take a look at the minutes from the previous meeting. I'm sure you've made some
Motion
notes
to
on them.
approve.
No notes apparently.
Second.
And moved by Ewing, seconded by Flanagan to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Nay. Okay, motion passes. About the bills, did we all take a look at the bills? Have any questions?
My question is your answer.
Who's paid the bills?
Second. Moved by Flanagan, seconded by Tisdale to approve the bills as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Okay, bills will get paid. Personnel requests. Brenda.
I have just two requests. One is for Sarah Bestian. She is a new hire at the sheriff's office as a dispatcher 1, grade 1, is paid $24.80. She's a full-time permanent employee effective on 4/28. And then the state's attorney has a new hire of Kristen Heitman. She is a county employee 2, grade 1, base pay of $24.64. She is a full-time permanent employee. Also a cell phone per diem of $50 per month effective 4/29/26.
Different personnel requests.
Second.
And moved by Tisdale, seconded by Flanagan to approve both personnel requests. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Okay, that motion passes. Travel requests up next.
Okay, we have one travel request. It's for Carmen Simons and Mike Meehan to travel to the South Dakota for SDAAO conference in Sioux Falls from June 2nd through the 5th. And they are also requesting a meal to travel on the nights.
Move for approval.
Second.
Moved by Ewing and seconded by Comer to approve the travel request for Mr. Mahan and Ms. Simons. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. That motion passes. Travel. Okay, next up is a road district incorporation.
This here is just the order declaring the Rimrock Canyon Road District incorporated and subject to vote. The election will be held on June 19th. I just need a motion to authorize the chairman to sign the order.
So it's an order for the election? Is that what it is?
Yes, yeah, to set the election date.
And this road is by Whitewood, kind of north of
No,
Whitewood.
it's out by Trailside, out in,
Oh, it's up there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I was on the wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I remember it now. Yeah.
it's
It's a terrible road. It's steep.
it's way up there, yeah. South.
Did you move?
I moved. Second.
Okay, been moved by Tisdale and seconded by Ewing to approve the vote for Rimrock Canyon Road District. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Okay, that motion passes.
Thank you.
We have a raffle request also.
Mr. Chairman, by letter dated April 20th of this year, Spearfish Area Chamber of Commerce has submitted a raffle request. This is an annual request. Details are set forth in the letter. If you're looking for a motion not to object, please.
I move to not object to the raffle.
Second.
Been moved by Flanagan, seconded by Comer to not object to the Spearfish Chamber of Commerce raffle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we will not object. And I'm sorry I skipped over the weed department purchase.
Okay, Chairman, this here is a request to authorize Dave Heck, BC's manager, to purchase 2 pickups from the state bid. One is a Dodge Ram 3500 1-ton 4x4 long box. It's coming off of contract number 17968, and also a Chevy Silverado half-ton 4x4 short box, and it's coming off of contract 17963. I just need a motion to authorize.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved by Ewing, second by Comer, to approve the purchase of the 2 vehicles, which I believe were in the budget. They were budgeted items. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, that is approved also.
Thank you.
I got everything up time, didn't I? Sheriff Dean, you like this?
Yeah. No hand me down.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Everything's going very well at the sheriff's office. We currently sit at about 33% of our budget year, and our revenue stream is brought in about 66% of our goal. So we currently sit at $684,474.10 approximately. And I think we're going to have some. I think about a month ago, I told you I was going to throttle things back a little bit, give the staff a break. We're starting to pick it up again. So I think we're sitting very well. We're going to do well in the next coming months. And other than that, Mr. Chairman, I just have some really quick thoughts that I'd like to share. There's a lot that goes into all of our departments in managing them, not the least of which the sheriff's office. And I find myself in need quite frequently, sometimes many times a day, to have quick legal discussions on one matter or another. And at this time, I don't know that I quite do this enough, but I'd like to bring to your attention, Bruce. I was thinking about it yesterday as we were working through some legal issues, and yet again this morning. And Bruce and I probably talk, I wouldn't even know how to guess, many times a day. Sometimes it just almost seems like, certainly I'm going to annoy him by this point. But I will tell you that he never fails to answer the call. Always calls me back without fail. It doesn't matter if it's 10 o'clock at night. Bruce is always there. So he does a tremendous job for the county, and I really appreciate it.
He's not trying to steal him from us.
Brendan?
I will echo off of Sheriff Keene's comments. He always has my 6.
Yeah, it's a great resource.
Thank
One
you.
question before you go, Sheriff. The cooperative law enforcement agreement with the Forest Service, they had offered up some money, but you weren't sure that was going to work just staffing wise.
That's correct.
And
And you were at the meeting as I was. The specific thing that I asked for was not necessarily that we would get it this year, but I needed enough time to be able to visit with the Board of Commissioners to see what they wanted to do with it, which meant any offering that they would make would be in 2027. We haven't gone through a budget cycle. I've tried. I've reached out to a few people. I have not been able to find either a retired police officer or somebody who is credentialed to work part-time just for the summer. In particular, probably one of the more insurmountable problems to reconcile presently is there's no guarantee that next year that money's going to come again. So when we go year to year, there's no stability for somebody to really plan on their employment, and that's proving to be a little difficult. So I've got some thoughts that I can share at budget time. I don't know that right now is the right time.
but it's not going to work for 26.
It's not going to work for
Yep.
26.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. It's 8:08. We have a public hearing at 8:25. Who's John?
No, yeah, he's right there.
What do you think there, John? Is that enough time for you? 15 minutes or so? Or?
Maybe.
Okay.
You see.
Appreciate your cooperation and jumping in and maybe getting cut off.
Yeah, that'd be right. Story of my life. All right. Got a couple of permits here, some requests. DRM is requesting permission to occupy the right of way. I reached out to them since this agenda was put together. I asked them on the permit, if you notice there's a spot there for the temporary, give the estimated date of removal or completion. And I even talked to them yesterday. I still have not received that, how long they're gonna have this thing closed down, this lane closed. So I would rather to continue this to a later meeting until they are able to answer that question.
Sounds like a plan, Skip. We don't need a motion to continue, do we? We do?
Okay, motion to do so.
Second. Okay, it's been moved by Ewing, seconded by Flanagan to continue the right-of-way permit. You got the number up here, so. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, we'll continue that till we get more information.
Correct, thank you. I'd also have a permit here, Peterson Excavation. This is over a Valley Drive community, the trailer park, that they want to put city water to that. They need to go underneath the West 14 road. I did request and I did receive, again, after I put this agenda together, the city's concurrence on this, and they did supply what the city has, the permit to hook up to the water line. I did reach out to Kyle Mathis and asked if there was going to be annexation in this area, and he indicated there wouldn't be. But I did notice in this agreement that there is the voluntary annexation and waiver for remnants, to consider the owner to, in receipt of the water services, owner hereby agrees to support at the annexation of the owner's property into the corporate limits of the city of Spearfish. So I don't know if they are intending, if this is this boilerplate part of the agreement, or if they do actually intend to annex. Kyle Mathis says not. I have no issues with this water line, and I would go forward with allowing that. But with maybe the possibility of including the language that we've done in the past, and I kind of took the liberty to write that up a little bit, incorporating by reference Lawrence County Resolution 2019-14 herein the further posting that the city of Spearfish has recently annexed additional land in the city, including area adjacent to West Highway 14, to be serviced by the utility permit that is subject to this motion. To the extent the county has any remaining authority, if any, to do so, then they authorize the chairman to sign the utility permit for Peterson Excavation, thereby not objecting to the installation of the utility crossing West 14.
I'll make the motion with that language.
I'll say. It's been moved by Flanagan and seconded by Tisdale to incorporate the language. That's the motion with the language just presented.
I can send it to you in the word.
Do we want to be concerned about a bond on that? That would be the other question.
I think we had the $70,000. I did not include, because of city, being if it's a city project, we have historically not requested bonds from other government entities. So they did supply the estimated cost for the utility within the right of way at $70,000. I'd leave that up to you guys. I don't necessarily need a bond with the city or anybody else on this project.
Okay. Do you have another question, Mr. Tisdale? Okay. If no further questions, all those in favor of issuing the permit, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Okay, we'll do that permit.
And the last permit I have, this is Butte Electric. Adam Zorak is requesting permission to install power line across the Homestake Road near the Crow Peak Bench intersection. This is to install service line to the Larson property up there with the new gravel poison. So it would be at the minimum depth of 4 feet. Our minimum depth in our ordinance is 3 feet, but standard for voltage of this size would be 4 feet. So I'm confident that they would do that. So I have no issues, and I would recommend approval of this for this utility permit.
Motion to follow Highway Superintendent's recommendation to allow the permit for Butte Electric.
Second.
It's been moved by Ewing, seconded by Colner to allow or to approve the permit to Butte Electric for boring under the gravel road. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, that permit is also approved.
And since the last meeting, we signed some Forest Service agreements on the Tinton Road. I was not here for that. I did sign my portion of them, and I believe you guys signed, but we do have another FERDA agreement portion of this. So I did ask them yesterday if there are any other agreements to be signed. They didn't think there was, but they didn't really say there wasn't either. So I think Bruce has it. It was sent to him, but this would be the FERDA. This allows us to do the work in that area, and it gives us the jurisdiction for that area.
Chairman, Val did reference the FERDA easement, but I didn't have it at the last meeting. So in fact, I have it. There's a copy online of what it is. There's Val there. And this would be in furtherance of the Tinton Road project. Mr. Chairman, if I could have maybe sign it now and I can give it to Val.
So this is one that we've already approved?
Yes, this is
the one.
this will facilitate the Tinton Road project. This is the basis for you to have jurisdiction over the road to maintain it.
But we don't need a motion to authorize the chairman to sign it. We've
You
already
do.
done that.
I think you do.
So moved. Second.
And you've looked over the agreement and we're okay with it, John?
The FERDA easement, yeah. This is what we've already paid for all for the centerline surveying and everything. This is what we, a couple of years ago, we paid Bros Engineering to do all this work. So this is the document that supports that work.
Okay. And I think we got a motion I missed.
And it's in a couple of seconds.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3.
So it's a good chance of passing it, is that what we're
Yeah.
doing? So,
Sure.
all right, go ahead.
I would have known that Val is here and Patrick Champa is here as well. Do you have any questions for them? District Ranger.
All right, we have a motion to approve the FERDA agreement and allow authorize the commission chair to sign. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay. One more step towards completion. We'll see how many more steps that might come up.
I could have you sign that.
Okay.
Please.
It's good to have that done.
And do we need approval for this? Grant award cover sheet also? That was in our package? Or is that?
No, I think that's from before. Yeah.
That's from before. Okay.
I have also submitted our 26 gravel plan, and it references this Tinton Road project. If you can see the 5 roads that we plan on graveling this year, and that is the Meredessus Road, the Wiseman Road, 196th Street, Lookout Mountain Road, and Pacoma Road. Those are the roads that because we reduced the budget this year, the gravel budget, we did reduce slightly the miles of road we did, but you will notice that the miles are similar to what we always do, but some of these roads are not getting the full amount of gravel because they don't really need it. Some of these roads are only going to be getting a 2-inch lift of gravel, but again, we will monitor how much money we're using or how much funds are going into these, and when we've reached the limit of our budget, we will cut back on what we're graveling. So the Tinton Road is an addition to that, and of course our agreement is to get reimbursed for those costs. So, there could be the possibility we have to do a supplement to pay for the Tinton Road until that payment comes from the Forest Service. Hopefully that doesn't take 5 years to get.
When do you anticipate starting on it?
John, they're in the room.
They're smiling.
Our intent is to start as soon as possible. As soon as we're aware that the funds are available, we're ready to start on that project. So we're also got to wait a little bit on weather too. We don't want to tear a lot of stuff up and have weather. But we generally start our graveling projects, towards the end of April into early May. We are planning on starting on the Meredessus, so we have, the Wiseman Road, we already have started on that project. And I will add that is 1 year in advance of that project. We started that early because the gravel we had set aside for that road is at our Bastion pit, and they requested us to get that out of there. So we did move that up the list a little bit. So we are going to start on that this week, actually. So provided the weather. And that's all. You have any questions on the gravel? Is there anything you guys would like to add or delete from this gravel? Thank you. We did have an issue here with SB 164. I noticed we don't have a senator in the room. Maybe he can answer some of this, but we did, effective July 1st, because of SB 164, there's some regulations that we are now forced to follow. There was 9 of the highway employees that this affects, and it costs everybody $43 to go get their driver's license. We do have an online webinar this week about it. The question I'm posing to the state is this the end of it, or is it? My personal belief that is probably going to go to the next level. This is going to require medical cards for everybody. Now, whether that comes to fruition, I do believe that all employees are going to have to prove their competence with the English language at some point here. So I think again, maybe Senator Dybert can answer this, but my question is, are all of the employees or all CDL holders going to be held to this standard in the near future? But, just to let you know, I mean, this is going to affect us by roughly $400 this year. It wasn't anything that we budgeted for. I don't expect our employees just to pay this. It's not
the
a
DOT
normal.
physical's $120.
We're not doing the physical. We are able to do this in exempted interstate, so we can basically be exactly like we were before. We just have to remove the K restriction on our licenses. We self-certify as exempted interstate. We'll give them $43. They give us a new license, and we move on. But I don't know if this is the end of it or not, but we'll see.
I think it's a good idea to see if Mr. Dybert wants to talk about this. Certainly. Well, there's two separate and distinct pieces of legislation that John was talking about. One was brought by the agency, which requires the health certificates and the updates to the CDLs that he's talking about. And that brings us in compliance with federal regulations. Usually we get that bill every year and we do the date change and a couple other things, but this year they added that regulation on the health certificates, which Commissioner Ewing was affected by. So I've heard this before. But it brings us in with the federal guidelines or federal regulations, excuse me. The second part about the English language, there was 2 bills on that this year brought by Senator Howard. And I believe both of those died, but the one that did go through was similar to the federal one, where you have the part of the CDL exam in place. It's done in English. You have to pass it. So all it did was confirm that we're still doing that in South Dakota. So it didn't change the guidelines for the CDL that's already in it. It just put it into our statute. We tried to stop that one because it was duplicative, but it went through. But all it did was reaffirm that part of the test has to be in English. So it's already in there that you have to have proficiency in English in one part of the exam.
Thank you very much.
So another unfunded mandate from the state.
Correct. Anyway, that is everything that I have. I did attend that ACE conference, at the last meeting. Appreciate the opportunity to do that. It was very busy, a lot going on. I did give you kind of a short report of what I did. I don't know if you have any questions about that, or kind of in memory of Richard's sleep, he wanted a report, so I did.
Yeah, we appreciate the written report.
I have nothing else for you if you don't have anything else for me.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a vacation of it right away. But I don't think we can get that done before a minute and a half.
Mr. Chairman, one more comment on the CDL requirement, if I could. Would you want a school bus driver that can't pass the physical driving a school bus? That's a good question.
rhetorical question, but a good question. All right, let's take a minute, less than a minute break here until 8:25 for a vacation of section line.
We get a lot of them that are just subdivision, stuff.
Yeah, it's just that one's, it's 33.
Probably right behind it, the road goes right through.
That was one that was white. All right.
Brenda, every time I fly, I come back like you are, and you get it on those planes.
Well, there's a little sitting behind me.
All right, it is 8:25, and the time and place for our public hearing for a vacation of section line, resolution 2026-15. Brenda, do you have some information you'd like to share on that?
Actually, Bruce is.
Bruce does. Bruce gets to do that in the day.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Andrew Nagel is here and back, and I'll defer to him in a second. I'll just do a brief setup. So this is a petition to vacate a portion of section line. I think it's just 33 feet as opposed to 66 feet, which we normally see, I guess. This is in the Wildflower Estate subdivision adjacent to the city of Whitewood. I think Andrew and his wife are interested in building a pole barn, an additional building, and that's necessitating the request for the vacation. I can't tell that the vacation would impact adversely anybody's access to the property. And again, this is 33 feet, so apparently 33 feet would still survive if you did approve it. With that, I would defer to Mr. Nagel.
Hey, Mr. Nagel, if you'd give us your name and address and any comments you'd like, please.
Andy Nagel, 1150 Wildflower Road, Whitewood, South Dakota. We are applying for vacation, so I can build a pole building. It's just a little under 3,000 square feet. The covenants allow up to 2 buildings, 3,000 square feet or less. I fall within the 25-foot setback from the property line, but with the right of way there, I don't fall within the 58 feet. So it's the right of way coming up our property is very steep and you can't even walk on it. It's obviously not ever going to be a road. And on the other side of the road, the access road to the 40 that's to the south of us, there's a blacktop road that Gerard Keating put in when he did the subdivision, and it's for the 40 to the south of us. So they have full access, and it's for a fire escape and access to their property. And on the lot to the west of us, there's a water tank that's sitting right in the middle of the road right away anyway. So I don't see it ever being a road or the need for a road. And I guess we were hoping that everybody else would see that everything's okay. And like I said, we're maintaining our 25-foot setback on the side yard. And any other questions?
It was surveyed apparently.
Yeah.
So you know exactly.
Yeah, I had Baseline do it. They did our house originally and did the plat when I built that. And then I had to, I had them shoot the new site. And then Randy Divert, he's the one that did the original plat there, and he also did the proposal here. So.
Okay. Thank you. Yep, and this is a public hearing, so if there's any, we'll open it up to the public if they'd like to make any comments on that. Is there anybody in the gallery here today that would like to comment on this right of way vacation? How about online? You could raise your hand or do something to let us know. Apparently not, so we'll close the public hearing and open it up for questions from the commissioners. Commissioner Flanagan.
I don't see that this vacation is going to affect anybody. The lot beside it is served by the subdivision road, and the lot behind it is also served by the subdivision road. So I'll make the motion to approve the vacation of this portion of the section line.
Second. Been moved by Flanagan, second by Ewing to approve the vacation of the section line and approve resolution 2026-15. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay. Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yep. And we also had vacation of right away. Randy Diver, is it Diver?
Watch it.
Professional surveyor.
Troublemaker.
Yeah, so, thank you. I wanted to come in today and discuss this right away with you. I've got a map here. A few weeks ago, you approved a sketch plat or a layout plat for property. It's over by Crook City. Maybe you remember this. This is the layout. And this is the piece of right of way I'm speaking to right here. And it services this area back here. Got it on the dotted part of this map. See the dots there? And to the north, you see Whitewood. So when this right of way was established back in the 90s, 98, the county required right of way to go to the dominant lots. And it was dedicated on this plat.
This is the railroad right away.
No, it's not.
It's not, okay.
I'll slip for it.
It runs through track 2. And as you see the dedication, it's very vague. I've got it in green on this. It's very vague on what it is. It's dedicated 66-foot access and utility easement. Then on a later plat, it was continued to the rear property when it was platted into track 5. You'll see that there's a little easement there as well. So we've established an easement through platting, and it doesn't necessarily say public and or private. It just says access easement, access and utility easement. And then privately, we acquired more access in the gray area here, straighten that bend out that you saw in that one that I handed out earlier. So the owner would like to make this private. The owners would like to make this private. And by the documentation, it doesn't say whether it's public or private, but would infer that it's public because it was dedicated on a plat at the request of Plan and Zoning and the Commission. So what we'd like to do is work with Bruce on the process, if this group agrees, to make this private. The reason for private is the landowners want to put a gate and make this a gated community. If it's public, they can't do that. They'd like to gate it down my Crook City Road intersection rather than have a quarter-mile of road that the public can come in and have to turn around, because they can gate it when it does go private. So it's a little uncertain whether this is publicly dedicated right away or not. I would say it's inferred by the plat. So we'd like to change that, and whatever process we need to do that, we would do. And I would just like to ask this group if I could work with Bruce to see how we could, at minimum, get his interpretation of it, and secondly, vacate it.
I get to say in it, I object.
Due to that comment, I don't have a problem.
I know we've gone, this group has gone to the away from public right of ways because we don't want to put it on the system. But currently this road is built, it's ready for gravel. We've had John out there and acting as if it is public to approve what we're doing. So that's the process we've been going so far. So we've been treating it like it's public.
Okay. So why is this process different than just going through planning and zoning to start?
Well, first of all, we will have to go there, Mr. Chairman, we will. But I wanted to engage you to see if Bruce could work with us on this, because Bruce is the county attorney, so I came here first.
Mm-hmm.
And understand his interpretation of the process. His interpretation is it's private, this is moot.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Did we talk about this a while ago? It seemed like vaguely familiar to me, but I don't remember all the details.
In passing, we might have, I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I'm not certain. I think it might have been the one we talked about just before this.
Okay.
So this is the information I have, and if it's all right with you folks, I would work with Bruce to get an interpretation and the process.
Okay, yeah, we need to decide if it's public or private, and then we'll have to proceed.
Yeah.
John, have any thoughts on it?
As long as any gates or anything like that, the only thing I've referenced for them that, kind of like we did on the Three Peaks Pass, as long as the gates are outside of the right of way and not blocking any section line, with this case, there's no section lines here to worry about. We just don't want any gate that hinders any kind of traffic on and off out on the road. So if there is a gate, it just has to be well outside of the right of way. So there is no backup of traffic onto the county road.
I assume we don't need a motion to that effect, just,
Understood.
Didn't expect
we
it.
have our blessing.
I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
A lot of papers for not having any action.
Right.
All right, Audra is here. Would you like to go up, Audra? That's a little early, but
And you have Auditor's report in your package.
we do some of this. Yep.
Well, it's been, they told me it was not gonna be super busy in the winter, and I've been keeping myself busy. But I will say March and April have been crazy insane, so. We had a couple of workshops. We made Super Bowl cake pops, and we had, in January, we had shooting sports practices starting up, junior leaders. We had the Black Hills Stock Show in February, which was very, a good turnout. It was a little, our numbers were a little down across the board for the whole stock show, but we had about 50 or about 60 participants. So that was a good turnout for us. Had another workshop. We had our Fox Family Memorial shoot in Belfouche. We had over 100 participants from all over the place, including Nebraska, North Dakota, and Wyoming. And we've had 3 CDM, which stands for Consumer Decision Making and Horticulture Skillathon days, with about almost 50 participants so far. We do have one more of those scheduled. Our kids are required for several of the awards and different levels that they are at to do some kind of judging. And since not everybody does judging of animals, then we offer that for them. Our junior leaders held a small animal clinic with Chad, about, I think, 15 kids. It was held at the Whitewood Police Department. And we're, well, upcoming, when I wrote this, it was for the Butte, and I met with them earlier, but we ended up not having our global sewing project. We just didn't have enough participation, and our banana sushi turned into banana burritos. But the kids had a great time, and we had a good turnout for that one. I think I had about 15 kids turn out for that workshop. And we've been starting our livestock literacy, which the kids are required to have if they're showing animals at the county fair and the state fair. Shooting sports wrapped up this past weekend with the state shoot. We had almost 50 kids that attended that, and those 50 kids, I want to say, had almost 200 different events that they competed in. So, and it may have been more than that. I didn't look at the numbers real specific, but we had a really good turnout. We haven't heard if anybody's made it to nationals yet this year, but we usually have at least 1 or 2 that make it to nationals. So we haven't gotten all the final scores and everything. We are working on our Western Heritage project in the shooting sports area. We're actually having a workshop tonight for the kids who are writing their personas. So I don't know if I've talked to you guys about Western Heritage heritage at all. But basically what it is, it falls under shooting sports because there is a shooting component, but they're teaching the kids the Western heritage from 1860 to 1900. So the kids develop a persona. They dress as best they can, and if they can't get appropriate costuming, then they have to be able to explain what they should be wearing. So that doesn't have to cost them very much at all. They explain their persona. It can be someone made up. My son took some of our family history. My grandmother, her family lost their house in the Chicago fire. And then they came west. They ended up in California, but in his story, he adjusted it a little bit and ended up in South Dakota and was a mountain man in South Dakota. So they develop their persona however they want to. It can be someone real or fictitious or a combination of the two. And they then have to present that persona to a panel of judges. They have to do a shooting component. They do a test on Western history and weapons of the period as well. So it's a lot of fun. It's just getting started in South Dakota. We've only had it for about 2 years. And it's only in 14 states across the country. So we're really excited. And as a former history teacher, that really sparks my interest. So I really love that one a lot. And I really want to start getting that one going a lot bigger than what we've gotten. But we add a couple of kids every year. So we've got about 15 kids right now, I think, that are doing it in Butte and Lawrence County. And then there are a few kids across the state. Honestly, I'm not sure where they're at. But so we've only got probably 20 kids across the whole state of South Dakota, but the majority of them are ours. So pretty proud of that.
And what were the years on that?
1860 to the present.
1860.
Yep. So we have plans at some point to come up and tour the Adams House and do a lot of those things and go out to the 1880 museum and just to kind of help build their historical knowledge of the period. So since we have some pretty cool history right here. Let's see here, what else? May, we have our last day to register for county fairs coming up. And I will be gone for a couple of weeks. My son is graduating, so we're headed back to Texas and Oklahoma. So I'll be gone for a couple of weeks to go do that, but I will be available if anybody needs anything. We are working for future plans, we're working with Pennington County on their outdoor readiness day camps that they offer throughout the Black Hills. And so they've got an Outlaw Ranch trail ride, Sullivan Lake, rock climbing, and a school that they are offering, and then paddling and outdoor skills at Center Lake. So we're working with the Pennington County office and doing those kind of together. We do have 2 young ladies who have taken on a huge project. We have, they are doing a large animal showmanship and judging clinic and a horse showmanship and judging clinic the 7th, 8th, and 9th of June. So they've got people coming in from professional judges and college judges and all kinds of stuff that they have all arranged all by themselves. We've just been helping them with the finances and that sort of thing. So we've got some very
Where's that going to be held?
It is going to be held. We're doing it in conjunction with Meade County, so it's going to be at the Meade County barn, right by this high school. So one of our girls goes to Sturgis, but she lives in which county is she in? She's in Butte County, and her club is in Butte County. And Jenny and I, she's the 4-H educator in Meade. We work really closely together. So so one of the girls, Natalie, did it last year, and it was just a 1-day clinic. They did how did they do it? They did showing in the morning and judging in the afternoon, and she had about 40 kids. And we had kids from all over the place. We had kids from out of state even coming. So this year they've been promoting it, and they've gotten a lot more involvement and sponsors and that sort of thing. So we're expecting to have probably closer to 100 kids across the 3 days. So we're really excited about that. And then we have our dates for our 4-H rodeo, which is July 10th, which will be held at the Roundup grounds in Belle Fourche. We added 27 new members since I talked to you guys last time, and 4 or 5 more volunteers. So we're doing great things.
Nice job.
Yeah,
Thank
excellent.
you. And then, of course, there's pictures of some of the workshops and the shooting sports that we did, the Fox family, or no, that was our fun day that we had. So
They got a great variety of interest.
we do.
possibilities there.
I'm actually starting right now. I took it home and had my son and my husband helping me with it with our robotics. So I'm kind of a technical person, but I could not get that thing to connect to my computer for anything. And it took my techie husband, who that's his job. It took him about 45 minutes to an hour, and he finally got it going. And then my 13-year-old took off with it and had it programmed to do stuff. And so we're really excited about that. We actually have a meeting for that next week. And I will actually, oh, I forgot about that. That's not on here. I will be at the, at BH is having their Women in Science conference for middle schoolers coming up. And I actually am going to have a table there set up and have some information available about 4-H and careers that are something that you can start building in 4-H that'll go into the sciences. So.
The 27 new members, are you gaining any in Southern Lawrence County, or are they still mostly in the?
Yes, actually several of those are Lawrence County. Yeah. Yep. Like I said, I'm that's my plan for next year, is working really on Lawrence County. So, and I'm hoping with events like this, because like Lead Deadwood will be at that Women in Science. I'm hoping events like that will get me
Get a little more exposure.
Get more exposure up there. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Any other questions?
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. See you.
Yeah, we can take a quick break here. We're a little ahead of schedule, so we can certainly do that. We got a public hearing at 9:15.
There's no planning and zoning on the drive. At least online. My next meeting, 4-H at 9 and Paul at 9:15.
Yeah, I guess I don't always put it on there because it's linked in the staff report.
Yeah,
I
I
can-
think, yeah, I can get it. If you go to
Yeah, we can
the-
put it
the-
on there.
the proposed agenda, Miranda, there's a link in there. And,
That's the first time I think I've ever come across, there's not anything on there. And the order is not the same.
So we just click on the agenda, just open the agenda.
Yeah, that's. Second reading of the back ban, we don't have to wait until a particular time to
go forward, yes.
Also, it should only take a couple minutes.
This is not the right one. No.
Your report for the burn ban won't take very long, will it, Paul? Okay. We'll do that.
Now.
No, I'm not,
Well,
I gotta
we
wait
have to
for
wait.
everybody. We'll let them take a break and
Well, this would be the second reading of amended ordinance 2025-01. 1.5, I was here last year. There's 3 items that we propose to add to the ordinance that will hopefully help reduce the wildfire risk north of the interstate. The county ordinance only pertains to that section north of the interstate. State law pertains to the Black Hills Fire Protection District south of the interstate. A lot of people get confused when they hear the Forest Service put a burn ban on. They think it's for all of Lawrence County when it's actually on U.S. Forest Service property. This ordinance pertains to that area north of the interstate, and it has 3 different parts added to the ordinance. And the first one is part of the open fire. We've added, well, it starts out saying no person shall set an open fire, and we added or maintain an open fire previously set north of the interstate outside the boundaries when the fire danger is at high, very high, or extreme. So I think I included in your packets the current fire danger. That's where you go to look it up every day. They can go to the emergency management website, U.S. Forest Service website. It's all available, and they can check it. If they don't have that, they can call our office. So everybody can check that. The second 2 was in section D. Section D was added. Open fire safeguards. Prior to commencing an open fire, person planning an open fire must contact the Lawrence County Dispatch to provide the burn date and the location. A lot of times we get a smoke report. They'll call the dispatch and they don't know anything about it. So then the fire department has to run out there if it was been reported and we knew it was going to be there, it would eliminate that. And secondly, all open fires must be attended, and when left unattended, fully extinguished and cold to the touch. Believe it or not, we have people that start a bonfire, a brush pile, and walk away and leave it. And the wind comes up and off we go. We've had 2 of those this year already in the area north of the interstate and the Whitewood area. So if it was that low and they started a fire today, which it is, and tomorrow for some reason the wind comes up and it goes to high, they have to put it out cold to the touch. That will keep that wind from whipping up those ashes and turn it into a wildfire. So those are the 3 things we're added proposing to add in the second reading. Questions? Pretty straightforward, but.
Mr. Chairman? Yeah. Well, I think I talked to Sheriff, but will you follow up with Sheriff and/or Jamie and let dispatch know that 20 days after this gets published and it's effective, that they may be getting those calls that they're not currently
Yes,
getting?
and I've been in touch with all the deputies, something through Brian and through Jamie at dispatch. And it is confusing to the public because we have regulations on the Forest Service, we have regulations on private in the Black Hills Fire District. We have different regulations in each city limits. They can control their own. And then there's regulations north of the interstate. So right now, U.S. Forest Service is in stage 1, which lets established campgrounds still have a campfire, even in the Black Hills Forest and this district. They were talking about going to stage 2, which would shut down all campfires. Now, when you talk campfires, there's a difference between an organized recreational campfire site, campground, and a private one at home. So they're not allowing the ones at home. All they have to do is turn their permit over and read it, and it tells them that. But some people read that. So.
And do you have any thoughts of how to communicate this to the public so that they know the change?
Well, we're gonna try to go through the newspapers, and she's been doing a good job of that, and the paper's been doing a good job. So, yeah, we're gonna have our LAPC meeting on the 30th, where we get probably about 30 people to that and spread the word that way. Hopefully,
We'll put it on our website as well. And I've been approved to update another website that the Forest Service used to take care of, and they're deciding they don't want to do that website, so they've turned it over so that I can go in and change that as well. So hopefully we can get that word out there.
Okay.
And we get a lot of calls, and dispatch gets a lot of calls, you know, when somebody's gonna burn, so hopefully we can educate dispatch good enough to answer those questions.
And Paul, if you send me your update, I can put it, because we have a fire page,
Yeah,
you know, on,
okay.
and a lot of people go to that.
Yeah, I'll put
And
it,
I try to update the links, but sometimes I miss them. So if you put give me the new link of where they should be checking. And then we can also put it on our Facebook page.
okay, we'll do
You know, we
that.
can put a little blurb out there.
Very good.
That would be helpful.
We'll do
That's,
both of
that's
those.
my concern is to make sure that this is easy to find information.
Get it everywhere, and Greg is changing the information on our website, on Orange County website, so.
Okay.
We're just holding off till after today.
Mhm.
And we'll update everything.
Any further questions or action that we'd like to take on this burn ban?
Motion to approve the amended ordinance.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Ewing, seconded by Homer to approve the amended ordinance 2025-01. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion carries.
And just to be clear, it's not a burn ban, it's just a burn ordinance to regulate the burning, so.
Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, thanks for making those changes.
Well, if I keep coming back and more moisture comes, do I have to come every time?
Until we get enough moisture, yes. We'll tell you when to stop.
All right, thank you.
And send it to the paper.
Okay. And you didn't have anything except public hearings, did you? So we're,
Just kind of waiting unless there's somebody else.
No, we're
Really
done.
is.
Brett has a few things that would go before the discussion about the religious society exemption, but it'll take literally 30 seconds, so I don't know that there's any great
doesn't
advantage.
change much.
No. I guess items from the public or items from the commissioners.
Yeah, I don't really want to do items in the public this much early, so. We could do items from the commissioners though. Is there anything that anybody would like to bring forward on this?
Nothing here.
I would just mention that there's a webinar from South Dakota Association of County Commissions on May 4th at noon, I believe it is our time, on Senate Bill 96. Secretary Howdy Shell and Bureau of Finance, Jim Twillinger are going to be on there talking about implementation or possible implementation of Senate Bill 96. So I would encourage everybody to take a look at that. We'll see that on our agenda at some point after that. Perhaps.
Haven't gotten the link yet for the web or the call yet, so.
Anyway, so it's a regular monthly meeting, so I'm sure it'll be coming out very soon. Other than that, I'm going to DC the week of May 17th, I think it is, for a NACO transportation infrastructure fly-in. There's some bills coming down the turnpike that will hopefully help federal funding for county roads and transport infrastructure bridges. So they asked for somebody from South Dakota to come just because of Senator Thune's leadership role and then Congressman Johnson's position on the transportation infrastructure committee. So I'll be going there to learn about, learning about infrastructure a lot before that. So, oh boy, that is just always opportunities to learn new things. So I'll be there most of that week. So.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
During Board of Equalization, I did put on there, if you needed it, an executive session. And so if there's any need for that executive session to discuss your preliminary denial of the religious society exemption, you could convene as Board of Equalization. We could have an executive session and get that out of the way if necessary. I just point that out.
Okay.
Maybe it's not necessary.
I guess it would be probably just necessary if there's some legal things that.
If anybody had any questions,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we'll probably have to hold off on that before we figure out if they have any questions on it. So.
Okay. I think the applicant does plan on appearing. She's going to come online about 9:30, I think.
Okay.
So I don't think there's any way to get her on earlier. I think she had some other meetings as well.
Okay. So with that, we'll go call a recess again here for another 10 minutes.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I think we're ready to go now. All right, it's 9:15. This is the time and the place for a public hearing for change of zoning 291-26 regarding Powderhouse Pass. Amber Bott is joining us today to give us a little recap.
Okay, so this is for Trent Walters. I believe Trent, it looks like he's online. Trent's online. For the Powderhouse Pass development. This was kind of if you remember, they came to us probably about 3 months ago to look at amending the master plan to clarify the sewer equivalency method that they came up with for the commercial buildings. That's kind of what this mainly was about. So that methodology is going to be put into that. It's defining the commercial units for the wastewater allocation. And then we also did, there was one sentence in there that was under the old PUD ordinance, which clarified, I think it said like 25% of open space had to be in there. When we redid that PUD ordinance, it doesn't have that specifics anymore. It's based on like the overall plan. So they did ask of, hey, could we update the language in our master plan to actually match the current language? Which made sense just because there's been so many changes within this development over the years. The two changes that they put into this written summary that they provided. But really the gist of it is inserting the table that will now let us keep track of commercial usage. And then the second part was this comments, yeah, 25, minimum of 25% was the old wording. And now it says that basically if you remember, we had a big discussion that what was happening is that open space would just stay open and they would never pay, there'd be no taxes, they wouldn't be maintaining it, there'd be no weed, anything on it. So now we just have it that they have to have it as part of their covenants and restrictions to make sure, that somebody's actually maintaining it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the two wordings. That's all I have. And Trent, do you have anything else to add?
Nope, nothing to add unless anyone has any questions.
Okay. So the gist of this though is that the overall doesn't change. It's just how we're applying some of the lots and the definitions and.
Yep, the number of
yeah.
lots are still in there, but what we had the problem with is it said 72 commercial or units. And it's like, well, they don't really have units in commercial, unless they have 5 maybe different businesses, but that's what wasn't happening. So we didn't have a way to determine how much sewer they needed for capacity.
So this is actually measurable now.
It's measurable with the sewer now, yeah.
Right. All right, this is a public hearing. Is there anybody in the gallery that would like to make any comments? If there are, just give us your name and address, please. How about online? Anybody online? All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and open it up to the commissioners for discussion or action.
No action today, correct?
Correct. It's a change of zoning, so you'll have a first and second reading. So today
Okay.
it's just it's a public hearing.
This is a public hearing, okay.
Yeah, public hearing, first reading.
Mr. Chairman, the second reading is tentatively scheduled for May 12th at 9 o'clock.
Okay. Oh, no further questions. We will move on to CUP number 500.
Don't you have to do the public hearing process?
You did.
You did do the public hearing?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, you were quick.
Nobody commented. That's
Wasn't a lot of people here, yeah.
Do we?
And it's a nice clean change.
Yep, we have to, please, have to recess as county commission and convene as board of adjustment.
So moved.
Oh,
Second.
okay, it's been moved and seconded, Flanagan and Tisdale, that we can recess as county commission and convene as board of adjustment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, we are now as the board of adjustment. And can have a public hearing on CUP number 500 from Front Gate Holdings. As soon as Ms. Amber is ready, we will have a little rundown of that. I believe you all had an ample amount of information in your packets on this one.
Multiple times.
Yes.
It's very strange.
Just go back here.
This is our first technology issue in a while.
I don't know what's going on with it.
We went through that one.
Okay.
Spearfish.
We'll try this. I don't know why I make a difference.
For the CFP. Or
Yeah.
technology?
CP.
Ah.
For technology.
I was weird. I didn't like the other one. Okay, so this one is a conditional use permit for Front Gate Holdings and Vertical Bridge. Ryan Streff, and Ryan is here in the room today. If you remember, this is where the storage units are going out to Belfouche on the left-hand side. They would like to add a tower onto the front part of that. Kind of makes sense with where it's located. And with, they would be installing a wireless communication tower and then all the facilities that usually go with that. It's already zoned highway service commercial. Tower wide, it's a monopole, overall height of 199 feet. They would allow, additional equipment to be added over time for emergency purposes. And other carriers if there's no floodplain on the property, so that helps. They will have a fenced and screened compound area around it. I think the only thing that there was a question on when we get to that point was Ryan did have a question on possibly changing the language on number 5 of the conditions, and we haven't had any phone calls or anything regarding this tower, so.
Okay, does the applicant have anything to add? Before we begin? Just name and address, please.
Yes, Commissioners Ryan Streff, 8305 East Willow Leaf Street, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Again, thank you for taking the time to review this. As Amber was saying, that I'm here on behalf of Fuel Consulting and the Towers LLC for this particular installation. And I did have just one question regarding the conditions, number 5. And the question relates back to the plans that have been initiated and are in front of you this morning. Excuse me, I was at a meeting last night evening. Anyway, so this morning that talk about the tower and the co-locations in the future, which typically this pole is designed to hold, a minimum of 3 carriers. And so with the conditions, I just didn't want to tie the tower owner's hands right away by only allowing one equipment structure. Typically, nowadays they're doing a lot of platforms that they put their equipment on. But again, if it came down to it that certain carrier wanted to do its own, typically a prefab building is what they do at these sites. So for condition number 5, if we're able to at least go up to, a minimum of 3 shelters, and their typical shelters, if they put one, up to 15 by 20 feet. So then that means each carrier could have their own equipment structure.
Basically 3 shelters.
Yeah, and instead of just one, because right away, if the next person comes along, then it tied their hands and they have to amend the conditional use plan.
And we have had that happen, because usually, it's the first carrier, that's it.
Mhm.
So then if another new carrier comes in, normally, I think so far they haven't asked for a separate building, it's just like a platform, so then it doesn't matter. But he brings up a good point. It would be nice if we're gonna allow a co-location for 3, it'd be nice to allow 3 if needed, because we want them to co-locate.
And I know it used to be East River, they preferred more towers in case the wind would knock one down, and out here because of the terrain and visual stuff, we prefer to have co-location, so we don't have towers all over the place.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, three small structures in the fenced in area, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Sorry, I just
care,
remember
but I had,
presentation.
when we sent it out, he had commented back, and I said, well, yeah, we could bring it up in front of you, because P and Z adopted and as is, but you guys could still make the changes, and I think it's a fair request.
And it doesn't change the overall footprint, it's just
No, but still within that
still within the
fenced
same
area,
same area.
could be a possibility.
15 by 20 structures.
That's kind of their typical size. So I thought, it just gives them a little bit more flexibility and up to.
This is a public hearing though, so we'll open it up for any comments from the public. If you're interested in commenting on this, just please give us your name and number, or name and address. Anybody from the gallery? Anybody online? All right, we will close the public hearing and move on to discussion or action from the commissioners.
So this is, well, 199-foot single pole and not a guide wired tower.
Commissioner, that is correct. 199-foot monopole tower. That's right. Not lit at this point. It hasn't been required by the FAA or anything like that. And then just our ground lease at the bottom that's screened and fenced.
And it's needed.
Would these structures all be in the same general area then? All three of them?
Yes, within the, so there's a lease area at the bottom, which is a 60 by 60 lease area, and the fenced area, I believe, right now is proposed at 50 by 50. Those structures would all be within that 50 by 50 area, right at the base of the tower. And then again, you know, if there's 3 users at the base of the tower, then they'll have 3 antenna arrays, you know, a total of 3.
The footprint won't change if there's one or if
That's
there's
correct.
3. Up to 3.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead, Bruce.
This doesn't require any FAA airspace then, does it? It's too far away, outside of the conflict area. Is that right?
That's right. So, Commissioners, that's a great question that you bring up. So, the FAA and FAA and lighting are both, you know, typically under 200 feet is when they start requiring items. They have reached out to the airport and they did do a study of that, and nothing was needed at this time. So, in the future, if something needed, they need to abide by those items, but nothing at this point.
Thank you. So is this tower inside the fence where the storage units are too, or is this going to be outside of that?
So there is it's just out, so there's a fence
There's a
right
fence,
to
I
the,
think, that goes right here.
correct, yeah.
Or
Yeah,
just
So it'll
out-
be just on this side.
Just outside the fence?
Yeah, but I think the reason for that placement was so they're not affecting their, I guess, customers that come and do, right? And then also to have the other frontage for any future development in the future. So.
Is it also from a security means, so people coming in to use those storage units don't have access to that tower?
I guess it does provide another layer of security because there's a fence before our fence, but not necessarily. It was more or less the placement and how it would work with the rest of the use of their lot or their proposed future development.
Any other questions or action?
I would make a motion with the amendment to item 5 to allow a maximum of 3 structures, 15 by 20 structures.
Within their fenced area.
Yeah, within their fenced area.
I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved by Ewing, second by Tisdale to approve the conditional use permit 500 with the amending condition number 5 to allow up to 3 buildings 15 by 20, as long as they stay within the original footprint. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, that motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner.
That's all we need. Thank you.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn as Board of Adjustment and reconvene as County Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Then moved by Ewing, seconded by Comer to adjourn as Board of Adjustment and reconvene as County Commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, we are back on board as County Commission. Do you have anything else for us?
Nothing.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have anything for me?
Nothing else.
Nothing, no.
Okay.
Just getting out of them.
Items for the public are next. Yep. We're a little early for that, but we're just moving right along here. So is there anything, anybody from the gallery would like to bring up this today? Any comments? Anybody online? Okay, seeing none, we will close that item also. And we can adjourn as county commissions. Okay, we are adjourned. Well, we need a motion to reconvene as Board of Equalization.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Comer, second by Flanagan, to reconvene as Board of Adjustment.
Equalization.
Equalization,
Excuse me.
equalization.
Sarah, the paint's still wet.
I'm good, thanks.
See
All
you,
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Take
Any
care.
opposed, nay? Okay, we are now the Board of Equalization. And we'll wait for Brett to come on down.
Brett is on her way, and keep her help.
First, I closed everything, but I didn't, do you want me to unshare the screen or do you want the screen to stay up?
Just leave it like that, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, I don't. That's a second reading. I won't have anything for you.
Morning, Brett.
Good morning.
Mr. Chairman, Carrie Black showed up today without even being online, but she's here in person, so I think we're ready to go forward with Board of Equalization whenever you're ready.
Nice to meet you.
You're all detailed.
No, that's okay.
We'll have to obviously adjourn as county commission and reset, or.
Yes, we did.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Where you been, Bruce?
Way ahead of me, as usual. I'd like to give a bit of a preface if you'd like to. Are you ready?
Move your mouse a little bit there. All right. And we are still on. All right, we will kick things off here on Board of Equalization. Bruce, do you have some updates for us?
Just quickly, if I may, Mr. Chairman, so you'll recall at your last meeting, you did meet as Board of Equalization, and you did consider the request for the Hand Up Foundation for the Religious Society exemption pursuant to SDCL 10-4-17. You issued a preliminary denial. That denial was communicated to Hand Up Foundation. And so pursuant to that same statute, they have an opportunity today to be heard to offer you more information. In fact, they've done so. You have a packet of information in your packets, hopefully, and I do have it online too. And so with that, I would defer to Brett and or Ms.
And actually, if we could just take a second, I forgot to approve the agenda. We should probably do that. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Then moved by Tisdale, second by Comer to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, thank you. I didn't want to violate any rules.
Yeah,
And I
just
just
right there. And
don't know that, yeah, Brett has anything else, so we defer to this.
Hi, guys. I guess I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to speak about, but we're really excited to be present in this area. Primarily, our focus in this half of the state is very much like youth oriented. So we over the winter did make a lot of connections. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Z8. They're like one of our auxiliary groups. Has anybody ever heard of Z8?
What's the name?
Z8. So it's primarily like a youth-led worship night, and we did host one in Spearfish the weekend of March 27th and 8th. And so that was actually a really big success. We had about 130 students that came out for that one. So we're currently in the process, obviously, of developing in this area, but in this part of the state, our focus is primarily the youth. So this property that we have up on the peak is primarily used for either like staff retreats or like the youth gatherings, the staffing when we come out here. We do have a few things planned, obviously, if you look at our schedule that I submitted. This property is fairly new, so we don't have a lot in there, but it will be reserved for use for pastoral or, as I kind of mentioned, like some smaller camps. Because it is right next to Terry Peak, we're hoping that we do have you guys ever heard of Lifeline?
Yeah.
Okay, so we work really closely with them. Obviously, they're able to produce a lot bigger events than like we're just very more like local and small. We'll have events where we have like prayer booths and stuff, but we're in the process of working with them to do a series called Prayer at the Peak. And that one I think would be opened up to more than just the youth, but the full community. So if you see any stuff about Prayer of the Peak, if we can get that going again, I'm not sure. We've just started communications with them. I'm not sure if they'll allow us to use their grassy area outside. I know it's private property and they don't really host a ton in the summer, but we're looking into developing that one as well, which would be really cool. So I guess I'm not really sure what you guys have questions about or.
Sure. And just to remind everybody, looking again at state law, SDCL 10-4-9, impertinent part for your consideration tells us that property owned by any religious society and used exclusively for religious purposes is exempt from taxation property of a religious society is exempt from taxation if such property is a building or structure used exclusively for religious purposes. And it goes on from there. And I think that Ms. Black did address the intent of the use of the building, define it to exclusively religious purposes and not an Airbnb or anything of the sort like that.
It's not for rent. Yes, definitely not going to be for rent at any capacity, so.
Commissioner Tisdale.
Sorry to back up a little bit, but your event you held in Spearfish, where'd you hold it?
Yeah, that one was at, gosh, why am I blinking? It was in conjunction with one of the churches there. If you want, I can grab my calendar and look it up on my phone.
Yeah, I'd be curious.
Okay. And also, if you look up our Z8 page, you can see all of our. Huh? Yeah, if you go on Facebook, so we're like one of the auxiliary sponsors. My son is actually in the band. And then Lifelight is the other major sponsor of the Z8 group, the Lifelight group. So I don't know if you follow that at all, but.
Did you listen?
Could be there.
Okay, it was at Rock Point Church.
Okay, thank you.
Where's that? Where did their home services at? You know?
So, and then in Sioux Falls, when we are hosting events, obviously we do kind of all around the community. We've gone to Central Church, we go to Faith Family Church, we go outside to Great Bear, all kind of around the area. But so this is a property that we have purchased through the foundation. If you look up the recorded deed, it is in the Hannah Foundation. And as I've testified in all the documents that we've submitted, it is for ministry use. It's not going to be for rent at all to the general public. But we will be using it for ministry purposes fully. So did you guys have any?
Does your foundation own any other property?
Currently we do have one deeded property in Sioux Falls. So it's on 41st and Western that we use for ministry purposes as well. But it's a commercial building, so.
And it's not tax exempt?
It's not tax exempt because we use it as a self-supported ministry. So there is a business that runs through it to generate income. So we're not able to claim it tax exempt on that property. Okay. So, and then that was deeded in 2023. So for those purposes, it's not tax exempt.
Sure. Yep. And your funding source then is private donations?
Essentially, yeah, it's self-supported. So we do host events and things to, like we don't necessarily take, we don't get tons of donations. We do get some, but like we'll take like offerings and stuff when we do the events. But primarily we do have other funding sources because we're self-supported. So, or partnerships like with Lifelight. It's kind of interesting, like we'll support them, they'll support us. We do have a couple of other groups. So like with Faith Family Church, the same sort of thing. So they'll give to us and then in certain capacities we'll give to them. A couple of our biggest things that we have done, we did a Festival of Trees event in conjunction with an event in Sioux Falls it's been 3 years ago now, that was 2023. The funds that we raised there, we actually helped to build a house in Guatemala for one of the orphanages that we support. And then when all the flooding happened in North Carolina, one of the coolest things that we were able to do is send checks directly to individuals. So rather than like supporting, say, American Red Cross, we actually were able to connect with actual families. And so we were able to send out $2,500 checks and we sent out 7 of those to people. So it's kind of very humbling experience. We wanted to go there and we were told we weren't allowed to, so we couldn't really get any boots on the ground at that particular event, but but really our heart is the ministry and with youth specifically, which is why we're developing in this area. So.
Sure. And, you know, just partnered in our hesitation here to grant this, but it's just that we weren't aware of any of your
Sure.
dealings. So it's, you're new to the area. We
Yeah,
never heard of it.
we don't really have any money to advertise. We're hoping that like, if we can connect with Terry Peak, obviously they have a really big base, that they would be willing to help us market to their, like maybe people in their database, their season ticket holders, or, you know, if we can get something going there. So if you have any other ideas.
So market to draw in more people for retreats.
Yeah, to like come to like the prayer at the peak.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of our events in Sioux Falls, we have 700 or 800 kids now that come for a single worship night. So we're hoping that like prayer at the peak, if we got it going a couple times a summer, that we can draw a large crowd to come and partake in worship.
Okay, your other entity is Light.
No, I'm not.
LIG,
Is
not life.
Yeah, we would be considered like an auxiliary. We don't manage that, but we're like, we partner with them.
So you're an affiliate of them?
I would call it an auxiliary. Yeah. Like an
Are they in
administrative
Arizona?
setting. No, they're actually based out of Sioux Falls.
Oh, really? Okay.
And they're really like, so they have an office building too, but they don't have like any set property. It's a music festival.
Oh, okay.
Is it the one that they put on in Rapid City that took over
Yep,
for Hillsville?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Just want to make sure that wasn't
Yep,
the same.
which is kind of how we got started branching out here as well. Because they do the hills and then in Sioux Falls they do the Life Light. But like the Life Light had stopped for about 4 years. And that was primarily due to location. And then they were able to like reinvent that, and now they're actually hosting downtown Sioux Falls, which is awesome because there's not really great parking. But so for example, at that event, we'll be present with our own prayer booth. So for example, like that, we'll sell merchandise. That's partly how we'll fund. Sell merch, but.
Anybody else have any questions or need?
I do. Haven't we in the past? It seems like this came up once before where somebody bought, one of the ministries bought a property up at Deer Mountain. And we waited until they actually were utilizing it before it was granted.
That was
stuff.
Jim
It was
Monteith.
before, it was before, you
Yeah,
were
I don't-
here, but what's
Yeah,
that?
I don't know.
It was Jim Monteith. They owned Trey's Crosses in Spearfish. Then they had that house that they converted to a worship place in Deer Mountain. And yeah,
Did we wait until it was actually operational until that happened, or I think they came in 1 year and we denied it.
We've actually been using it since about, I think, July last summer, for ministry purposes. Because it was purchased in May, and then there was a little bit of remodeling. So there wasn't a lot that happened last summer.
Brendan, I mean, I don't remember. It seems to me like maybe they were gonna do some remodeling and to facilitate kind of a congregation kind of a thing. I can't remember. I have no specific recollection though.
But it was at Monty.
Yeah.
property. I know, and now that, I'm sure that's what it was, and I can't remember the detail of it, but it seemed like maybe they had another property that they had it on, that we were waiting for that to change. I don't, there was something on there.
Piece of property out by the old Steinmeier place.
Yeah, they went from league to.
Yeah.
Okay, that was what it was.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Disbanded.
yeah,
Has it been?
the statute does allow for a residential property used exclusively for religious purpose to qualify for the exemptions. I had it somewhere.
Is this something that, Brett, can be reviewed annually for a while, or it's just once we? do it?
Every organization that has an exemption, we send out, they have to fill out a short form every year. Every 5 years, they have to fill out a long form. So, which is a more extensive, and that's done for every exempt organization. Yep.
But otherwise, every year, there's a sort of a compliance check. Is that fair? Or a check-in?
You know, mostly it's the 5-year one. The annual one is more just, are you still there? You still own the property, you know, everything, just to make sure.
The 5-year one is a more expensive one, but
Does anybody have a need for executive session to discuss a legal issue on this?
I don't, I just, with so many of these things starting up and going towards the youth ministry, we just experienced that recently in Arizona with our granddaughter who ends up going to church 3 times a week, to our youth events, to different groups, organizations like this one. I'm much more comfortable than I was last meeting.
I don't need to know.
Is there any action that we would like to take on this?
I move to approve the exception. If that's proper.
Okay, so
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Tisdale, seconded by Comer to approve the tax exemption for, now I got Hand Up Foundation. Any other discussion? Then we better do a roll call vote on this, please.
Tisdale,
Aye.
Ewing,
Aye.
Comer,
Aye.
Flanagan,
Aye.
and Jen.
I guess aye. Okay, motion passes. Thank you very much for coming this year.
Thank you.
for
If
taking
you
the
guys
time.
ever seen of our stuff as we work this out, please share it with your youth because that, like what you just said about your granddaughter, did you say in Arizona? There's a huge movement of the youth people right now getting really excited about God. And if you can come, if you see it posted for the prayer at the peak, you should come and check it out because I think you'll be pretty excited about it. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, so nice to meet you.
Yes.
There's a good chance to come and check and make sure nothing's broken.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just seems like they should, religious organizations should have to register with the state or something.
Yeah.
So, but it has,
Separation of state and church.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Probably never do
well,
that.
you know, we have to incorporate.
Yeah.
All the other organizations have to register.
Mr. Chairman, state law does require most organizations to file as a, or as a, but specifically excludes religious societies from that fee.
Yeah, there's really just nothing for us to go on other than somebody's word.
That is the difficulty. Yes.
And the documentation,
Yeah.
you know, whatever they can provide.
Yeah.
Of course, they went to great lengths to
Yeah.
provide a lot of
Big
documentation.
is just spent a lot of time and effort on one thing and we've got a whole bunch of these ag deals going through.
All right, I
All right,
just, need
next
to
up.
make, you need to make some additional motions, I found out from the state, for you to approve the veterans exemptions, just the fact that it's happening, I guess. Motion to approve the fact that, veterans exemptions and also I'll do it for the treasurer, that, the assessment fees that we accept them.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead, please.
I'm reading from the Department of Equalization guidance. It says, at the County Board of Equalization, here we are, the County Director of Equalization, Brett, will request the board to approve the Department of Equalization to make any changes due to the veterans exemption.
So,
Second.
that's been moved by Flanagan and seconded by Tisdale that we approve the veterans. Basically, we agree to follow the law.
Yes.
Is what we're doing.
Yes.
So we're committing to following the state law on veterans exemptions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
And just for informational purposes, just so you know, so 2025 veterans exemptions came out to be about 30 million. This year they're about 34, so they're up 13%. Assessment freezes, this year last year the value was at 21 million, this year it's at 32, it's gone up about 50% because of the change in legislation. The assessment elderly freeze.
Was that the request we had to approve?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. So similarly, at the Board of Equalization, the treasurer and Deb had to be gone, had to take John to a medical appointment. But you have the information that she provided, that she is hereby requesting that this board instruct Brett to make changes to values for those applications approved by the treasurer for the elderly tax freeze.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and by Flanagan, seconded by Ewing to follow the elderly exemption tax law also. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
So no more tips or write-ins. We're all done with those.
We're all done.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn as Board of Equalization?
So moved.
Okay, call ourselves adjourned then.
Move on to next year.
We're all adjourned then.
Yep.
I'll stop the recording.
Good.